Our third and final question for this session is kind of leads off from my last long answer. Why, in heraldic terminology, does it not say stag every time, but sometimes deer? Well, again, there's so many examples in the records of the words being interchanged, even in the same family. A grant of arms, again, we looked at the Mackenzies of Scatwell in Strathconnan. So you're right in the heart of Mackenzie country. This is not an obscure branch of the family. They're in the family patch for sure. Even in that family, we have a deer's head depict in the blazoning, in that written instruction, a deer's head on the first matriculation of those arms, and then in later matriculations in the 19th century, you have the word deer being interchanged for stag's head. And if you go back to, the even pre-1672 heraldry for Mackenzie, it's clearly depicting a stag's head. So why the terminology is different? It may well be just, again, words come in and out of use. It may well be that the word stag wasn't used as commonly back then, or the groups of people who were assigned these tasks to blazon, to write down the description of what those coats of arms should look like. There's no reason that I can find at the moment. Again, one of the most wonderful parts about Scots heraldry is that everyone is researching all the time, and it's the bringing together of that research that makes this area of study and expertise so exciting and so endless as well. Anyone who calls themselves a heraldic expert is wrong or lying. There's always more to learn, and so getting bored is not an option. But in heraldic terminology, if I were blazoning, if I was in Lyon office and I was blazoning Mackenzie coat of arms, the chief's arms, for instance, which are the sort of most simplest, I would certainly use the word stag, so that there's no confusion whatsoever that it is a male of the species. But again, you're looking at 3+ centuries of usage here, of development, of study. Culture changes, words, the usage of certain words changes. It may well be in Scotland that the word deer was more interchangeable than perhaps we may consider it today. And again, I gave some examples there of hart, H-A-R-T, obviously a male of the red deer species, being used for Mackenzie of Gairloch, which is a massively important Mackenzie family, even to this day, still owning, I think, over 60,000 acres in Gairloch. And in fact, incidentally, if you do drive up to Gairloch in the Highlands, which I would highly suggest you do someday if you can, you drive through Gairloch, and all the houses, even modern houses that are built, there are so many houses in Gairloch, which is a thriving small town and a wonderful place to visit, have deer's heads, stag's heads, depicted on their front doors, on the signs for their house. The word Caberfay, which of course is the patronym for the chief of Mackenzie. There are so many houses named Caberfay in that part of Scotland, in Gairloch, which is a Mackenzie area but borders a MacLeod area. Caberfay, various forms of spelling, of course, but it's Mackenzie hot pot still to this day, and you'll see stags' heads depicted everywhere, on signs, on people's houses, on their front doors. It's wonderful history that's enduring. But yes, why in heraldic terminology does it not say stag each time, but sometimes it says deer? And it's one of those curios that there may well be not an answer. It just could be happenstance or just in the mind of whoever wrote it down at certain times. But certainly there's a lot of research available held by the Lyon office to this day, which is still alive and thriving. In fact, perhaps more so now than ever before. And Mackenzie heraldry is in abundance. So it might be a fun exercise for someone at some point to go through all the Mackenzie entries in the Lyon register, and there's over 15,000 coats of arms in total across the 96 or 97 volumes. Go through each one of the Mackenzies and map them, not just the illustrations that are contained in the later volumes, but the blazoning, and see do a tally. How many deers, how many stags, how many harts, how many bucks. I wasn't able to find any bucks in that 1893 book, but it's not to say that they exist later on. I should also say the Lord Lyon Society, which is an organisation that was founded in 2022 by the current Lord Lyon, Joseph Morrow. The public register, as I said, is over 90 volumes, hard volumes, painted on vellum, held in Edinburgh. Most wonderful resource, but it's much more useful to us who are in close geographical proximity rather than perhaps you watching this on the other side of the world. So the Lord Lyon Society is raising funds to digitize the entire Lyon register, which, as I said, over 15,000 entries. That's a big, big task. And the current Lord Lyon, Joseph Morrow, his wish is to digitize the entire register, upload it onto the internet, and to make it available to anyone for free within the confines of our data protection legislation and things for living individuals. But it means that this wonderful resource, the oldest public register still used anywhere in the world, will then be available to anyone around the world, and that would make Scots heraldry even more accessible than it is now. Clan culture and clan history and the importance of imagery, of crest badges, of coats of arms, of that clan imagery, which is so important to our cultural identity. I'm a McEwen, so our crest of an oak tree trunk is hugely important to us as a global family, as I'm sure the caberfet, the deer's stag's head, is to Mackenzies around the world. So a typical heraldic question session with lots of I don't knows, possibly maybes, but what's undeniable and indisputable is that Mackenzie, such a huge name in Scotland, still to this day, has a rich heraldic history, which is still being created now. There's Mackenzie armigers, people who have a granted coat of arms, still being recognised and petitioning for arms today. And the research is, all the records are sitting there in Edinburgh for someone from Clan Mackenzie to have a real strong coffee and go through it all. And heraldists like myself will always help where we can and when we can to help clans folk, as well as clan associations and organisations like the Clan Mackenzie Initiative, delve into Scotland's story, whether that's to do with the name Mackenzie or other parts of our history and culture, and make it open, make it loud and accessible and interesting, hopefully, and certainly share it with as many people as who wants to learn about it and ingest it, because Scotland's story is a global story now, and Scotsmen like myself are very glad of that, and would love to see it develop even more over the years ahead. So thank you very much indeed to the Clan Mackenzie Initiative for the questions. Thank you to you who watched hopefully the whole thing, maybe in bits. Yes, research your Clan Mackenzie society or association wherever you live in the world. If you can get involved, that might be as little as helping out at the Highland Games at one point or doing some more research. Please do engage with them if you can. It's very important that this area of our culture not just survives but thrives. From here, the Kingdom of Fife in Scotland to wherever you are, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.